The Complexities of Decision-Making is Lesson 1.6 in Econophil's one-semester on-level high school economics curriculum. This lesson can be used on its own, but it's best used within the context of the curriculum. Lessons prior to 1.6 focused on the principles of economic thinking and used tidy assumptions and simplified scenarios. In this lesson, messy circumstances are introduced in order to challenge and deepen students' understanding. The sequence is that we'll review the principles of economic thinking and the assumptions of econs. We'll go over the cognitive biases, and then we'll end with a chat station activity. Here's a picture of our curriculum specialist, Kathleen, with a group of students when we were able to do this lesson in person. The activator uses the handout that was the summarizer for the previous lesson. If you didn't do lesson 1.5, that's fine. You can have them answer these questions now, or you can skip it, but we will return to this handout later in this lesson as a check for understanding, so you still want the students to receive this handout if they haven't already. And for this lesson, this is the handout that students will get as a note taker, and it is student approved, as you can see from this feedback we got. Up until this point in the unit, we've been assuming people operate in a pretty robotic way, and that they're more like econs than humans. But this lesson will complicate that way of thinking. To introduce each bias, we pose a question students can relate to. You are deciding what classes to sign up for and have narrowed it down to 2 options. You ask your counselor for more information about those 2 options. The counselor says, out of 100 students who sign up for Class A, 90 students succeed and earn college credit. Rate how likely you are to take Class A. For Class B, out of 100 students who sign up, 10 struggle so much they have to repeat the class. Rate how likely you are to take Class B. Compare the ratings. Were they the same or different for each class, and why? We'll have a discussion about why might the framing effect influence a person's decision. Responses may differ, but students will likely agree that decision-making can be affected by whether or not a person's primed to consider positive or negative outcomes. Our next question is, have you ever made a New Year's resolution or goal and not followed through on the resolution or goal? And we'll have a conversation about that, and then talk about why that's an example of the present bias, where individuals tend to value immediate rewards more heavily than future rewards, even when the future rewards may be more substantial. Students seem to have fun with this question, which is, have you ever finished a movie you were not enjoying and why? They might be excited to tell you what that movie was. So that's our example of the sunk cost fallacy, where people tend to follow through on an endeavor if we've invested time, effort, or money, whether or not the current benefits outweigh the current costs. So here they're going to pull out that handout that we started with, and they're going to do a check for understanding what cognitive bias was present in the scenario you chose to analyze. To close out this lesson, students rotate through 4 different chat stations. They'll read the prompt at the station, discuss their thoughts as a group, and then move to a different station when you direct them to do until they've visited all 4 stations. You'll have multiple stations around the class, so there won't just be 4 for the whole class. After we tried this lesson in person, we made some tweaks to the chat prompts, and one of them was inspired by student feedback. So the student suggested that the present bias could be called something more memorable, and we thought that was a great idea, so we changed one of the prompts to come up with your own name for each cognitive bias. It should capture the core idea of the bias and be memorable to you. So that concludes this run through. I didn't include everything in the lesson, but you can find the complete lesson plan at econophil.org. Please let us know how it went. There's a link to the feedback form in the slides and in the lesson plan. We would love to hear from you.